Everyone, would you give up your lives?
Hey, I'm Rise, and are you willing to wait for humanity to learn and grow? So, of course written and directed by Tomino, this movie is an adaptation of his high streamer novel. As per usual, Tomino will have some ideas which would be turned down, such as modifying the story making Amuro a family man with Beltorchika, Amuro's love interest from Zeta. Since this was turned down, Tomino would just make a new novel adaptation of a movie which was already adapted from a novel. This new novel would be Mobile Suit Gundam Char's Counterattack, Beltorchika's Children, which we'll come back to in a bit. When it came to mechanical designers, notable members of this team would be Hideaki Anno, who in just a few months would direct Gunbuster, along with Yutaka Izubushi, who would create and direct Rasifan in 2002, Shinji Takamatsu being an assistant director for this movie, who would later be one of the dual directors for Gundam Wing. The movie premiered in Japan in March 12, 1988. Almost a decade after the original show, we finally see a conclusion of one of the oldest rivalries in animation. Char's Counterattack takes place in UC 0093. Char, appearing to have survived the events of Zeta, is displeased that the world has not changed yet, even after all it went through in the prior events.
Those living on Earth only care about themselves and no one else. That's why I've decided to get rid of them all.
Char, now leading Neo Zeon, plans to drop Axis onto Earth, forcing all survivors into space. It is up to the newly established Londobel with familiar members such as Bright Noah and Amuro Ray to stop Char's plan and put an end to this 14-year-long rivalry. Char and Amuro, who have battled since the first title, have now grown. Amuro, who first piloted the Gundam due to pure circumstance, now chooses his own path with the true successor of the RX-78, the new Gundam.
Gundam, let's do it!
Char, who started off as a soldier who was only driven by vengeance, became leader of Neo Zeon, wanting to bring freedom into space, though with very radical tactics. This movie brings in the tragedy which occurs through the clash of ideals, which is greater than the shows which came before it.
I thought you were more broad-minded. She was just confused. Lala Soon was a young woman who may very well have become a mother to me. You took away her life, so don't you dare judge me!
Though with such great tragedy comes possibility. In the end, humanity will be brought together under a common goal.
That's our purpose. We gotta show the world the light within the human heart.
Leaving behind their desire to fight in order to push back Axis. The new type abilities of Amuro would be pushed to new limits in order to do things which would seem impossible. The fated final battle between these rivals would come to an end, both being declared missing in action. Though at the time this movie would be the end-all be-all conflicts between the Federation and Zeon, we'll still receive more titles where the tension seems to be never-ending. As for an extra note, the movie is the first Gundam title to use computer-generated graphics, as seen in the shot for the colony rotating. Now, back to the novel the movie is adapted from, High Streamer. Having some difference in mobile suit designs such as the novel New Gundam and the movie New Gundam, the movie adaptation does not follow the novel entirely, as it jumps straight in sometime after the first volume in the novel, where Char has already started his attack and Londobel failing to stop the first asteroid from hitting Earth. Beltorchika's Children of course would follow Tomino's original wantings for the movie. The new Gundam and Sasabi would be renamed and replaced by the High New Gundam and the Nightingale. The Jack Dogo would be replaced by the Psycho Gyaradogo, which would make it look less like a penguin, or for some a cockatiel. In the story, Amuro has stayed in a relationship with Beltorchika, resulting in her pregnancy. Unlike the movie, Amuro and Char would be confirmed killed in action after stopping Axis, as well as Bright Noah's son, Hathaway, is the one who accidentally kills Guess instead of Chen. This directly causing another novel in 1989 to come into existence, Hathaway's Flash. This novel would gain 4 new mobile suit designs done by Moroki Yashihiro, the same mechanical designer for Hades Project Zurimer. The story in Hathaway's Flash takes place 12 years after the events of Char's Counterattack, where Hathaway is haunted by what he did to Guess, taking on a new identity as Mufti, joining an anti-Federation terrorist group. Hathaway saw how the Federation was becoming more and more corrupt and planned to attack and change it. Though, as per usual, the story would become a tragedy where Hathaway is captured and put up for execution. A ghost of Guess would arrive and tell Hathaway that she never loved him in the first place, ending with his own father, Bright Noah, unknowingly giving the approval to execute his own son by firing squad. Now, as of June 6, 2014, Beltorchika's Children would receive a manga adaptation So, let's have a rundown of how this plays out. We have a novel which is adapted into a movie. This movie is then adapted into a new novel, this new novel then spawning a sequel, where as of now, this new novel has a manga adaptation. Yeah, that's a bit of a mess. So, I hope you enjoyed and understood the video, but remember, and neither is this channel. Yeah, there is no real way to explain this. I want to leave off with saying that this is just a really good movie and I highly recommend you watching it if you haven't yet.
Your mother and sister, they would be worried sick if they knew you were in the battlefield.
He's a brave kid.
We haven't heard from Hathaway.
Communication lines must be tied up with emergency calls.